Oh, that's better. Now I don't feel like a freaking bear. Hey everyone, Andrew Southworth, GenereStudios.com, here to teach you how to make better music and help you achieve your musical goals. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to do vocal chops for pop music, but it also applies to EDM and really any kind of music that uses vocal chops. But this is kind of a poppy / EDM type song, so that's what I'm using in this example. We're going to dive onto the screen real quick because vocal chops are actually very simple. A lot of people don't realize it, and I didn't realize this at first either. I kept Googling, like, how do people make vocal chops? Like, what's the best way? Can I load them into a sampler? Can I blah, blah, blah? And I found the easiest way is just to actually work on the raw audio clips. And you might think this is super tedious and super hard, but it's really not. It's much easier just to do it in raw audio. So as you can see here on this track, I have a bunch of vocal chops. And the reason it's called vocal chops is because you're chopping up a vocal to make a certain sound. So I'll play this little segment for you. So you can probably tell from my screen that all I'm doing is I'm just chopping things up and pitching them, and you would be exactly right because that is all I'm doing. If I double click on any of these, this is Ableton Live, but the same rules apply for Logic Pro and probably for Cubase and Pro Tools or whatever. But in Ableton Live, I have warp enabled, and I'm just transposing each little thing. You can see as I switch between, the pitch is changing, the type of warp mode is changing, but that's not essential to the idea of vocal chopping. The main concept you want to think of is you're going to cut up your vocal into a bunch of chunks and then pitch things differently. So I created a separate track here so I can just copy one of these segments out, solo it with nothing on it, and just extend this part out. So if I double click it, and I'll turn off the transposition, and I'll click play. I will not be your hero. And then that segment turned into this thing, which is a segment of a vocal chop. So if I cut it back to length, raw without any pitching is this. And then from there, I pitched it up 8 semitones. Just like that, you already have a thing that you can pitch around to make a vocal chop with. But the thing that makes vocal chops so cool is that you're changing words and vowels. So if I play through this and go to a different note, these first little bits here are just the same exact thing, just pitched to different notes. If I were to grab them and do what I did for the last one, put them on their own track, and solo them. So in that case, I have beat mode enabled, and that just is a different type of warp mode that instead of like stretching out your sample all nice, it's kind of cutting into little chunks, which is ideal for drums. But in this case, it works fine for that vocal chop to get that little, that's all I'm doing with it. So if I grab this other part, I did the exact same thing. If I extend this out, and it's just to a different note. But once I get to this third one or fourth one here, I'm actually using a different part or a different word from the same part. So this is all just, I got the chorus vocals that I recorded and I just started chopping them up. I paste this here, and I'll listen to this thing. This is actually unpitched already. I am not trying to. So the speed is different. Originally this was 100 BPM. In this case, I shortened it to 80. And all I did is I just highlight it, hold shift, and you can stretch that bad boy out. So you're probably starting to see that making vocal chops is actually very easy. All you're doing is cutting out little things that you think might sound cool, arranging them, and then pitching them. But the hard part is knowing what to pick. So that's what I really want to spend most of my time on. You saw how I can just get things, warp them, and pitch them around to make some kind of cool thing. That's all I did for this entire part. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this main thing, go to a part of the song that I'm not using, and I'll just extend this, and I'll start picking out things, and we're going to make a new vocal chop together. So I'm going to start scanning through this part. Let me pitch it back to normal. I will not be. Let me try to do something with that knot. I'll grab just that little bit, and I'm going to put it on the one, and I'm just going to scan through, find some other cool sounds. I will not be what. I'm going to use that be what sound. Regret, 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 regret. I'm going to use this regret. I'm probably going to have to re-speed it or re-tempo it, but we'll figure that out later. So I have a raw sound selection, and this is how I start. I go out and I cut out a bunch of little bits that I think might sound cool, And now I start the process of arranging them in terms of, I guess, rhythm and just kind of see what inspires me. So I'll turn off solo here. So instantly I got an idea like not kind of thing. Let me do 3 of them. And I'll try moving this here. So not be what. And I'll try grabbing this. I'm gonna try speeding this up. Too fast. Move this over. And again, I'm going to move this over, and I'm going to play with this idea of that not be what, be what. I'm try pitching this one up in octave, and I have complex port enabled in this whole clip, so I'm going to try putting the format down to get a little bit of extra grittiness. We add some fades around it so that there's less clip sounds. And then I'm going to try pitching this up for semitones. Maybe 7? Maybe I'll do this one up 12. There we go, 12. And I don't know, 10? See what that sounds like? Maybe I'll actually just take the B here. And I'll add some fades here so it's less clippy. Maybe make this 14. Maybe this one should be 12. Maybe this one should be 14, and this one should be 16. No. 17. That sounds pretty cool. These are a little clippy, so I'm going to add some fade-ins and fade-outs. I don't know if in Ableton Live there's a way to do this as a batch. In Logic Pro, you can actually just highlight a whole bunch of samples and just add a fade to all of them at the same time. I don't think there's a way to do that in Live, because I probably would have found it by now, because I hate doing this. Alright, so everything has a fade, so here's what we have so far. That sounds sick. Let me double this and change some things in the second time around. Maybe I actually want to have my pitched ones first. And then I want to spice it up the second time around, so... I'm going to make this half as long. Stretch that one out twice as long, maybe. Turn down the formants. And here, I think I want to have this do kind of like a slide thing. So if you want to do that in a clip, what you can do is enable this clip automation stuff. Go down the clip, transposition. I think right in the middle, which is right there, I want to pitch it down by 2 semitones. And at the end, I'm just going to have it pitch back up because live sometimes freaks out with the whole pitch automation thing. And then now, let me play this whole thing again. And, you know, this is something that I would take and really just fine-tune, kind of like mix the rest of your song, go back to it, but like right now it's a pretty sick vocal chop, and that took, I don't know, how long we're recording this? We're recording this whole video for 14 minutes. So anyways, that's my whole process for vocal chops. Enjoy the video. I upload videos every single Tuesday and Friday, so make sure to subscribe and ring that bell to stay notified, and also check out this video on invisible sidechain because I think you really like it. Anyways, see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. See you later.